What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Wanted to talk to you about our friends over at Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching sports. This app is really easy to use. You just pick more or less on a few player stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your cash on a single lineup. Best of all, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use the promo code PFF and download the app now. Raiders had a very, very solid draft here. Ashton Jeanty in the first round, again, depending on what you think of a running back going in the top 10 at number 6 overall, probably goes into probably what you give the grade here for the Raiders, but you can't argue that this is a hell of a football player that they brought in. They went Jack Bech in the second round, and then 3 third-round picks, Darian Porter, the corner from Iowa State, Caleb Rogers, the flexible, athletic offensive lineman, and then another one right after that in Charles Grant. 2 fourth-round picks in Deontay Thornton and Tonka Hemingway, and then 3 very interesting 6th-round picks, J.J. Pegues, the ultimate Swiss Army knife, Tommy Mellott, who you're kind of hoping is the same thing with as an offensive weapon. You get Cam Miller as a backup quarterback, and then in the 7th round, they go Cody Lindenberg, the linebacker out of Minnesota. Our staff gave the Raiders an A here. What do you think, Dalton? Was this worthy of an A?
I actually think so. I know, look, I think we're going to head into the secondary still a little bit, into the season a little concerned about their secondary, but otherwise you go, okay, they got the best back in the draft easily when they were last in the league in rushing grade. You got a guy in Jack Bech who I think is going to start for them right away. I think you talk about alongside Jacoby Myers, or Bech can play in the slot some, and you've got options there with Bech with as versatile as he is. I think Darian Porter is going to start for them even as a third-round pick right away. At 6'3", and the speed that he has and his ability to play in zone coverage, I think it's exactly everything Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham are looking for in a corner. I really think he's going to start right off the bat. He's got to get more physical and tackle better, but I think in coverage, he's everything they're looking for, and you know Pete Carroll loves those bigger corners. I like Charles Grant a lot as a developmental tackle behind Colton Miller there, on the left side, or on the right side behind DJ Glaze, if that's the case. Dante Thornton, good value in the 4th round, just got tools. Size and speed is what you're looking for. They need a vertical threat. Bech isn't necessarily that. He's going to make things happen underneath more so you complement him with Thornton, and then you know me, I love my guy J.J. Pegues. I mean, it's just it felt like on day 3 they were just having fun with it, right? When you get guys like Pegues, you get Tommy Mellott, who was a quarterback at Montana State, and then goes and runs a 4.39 and puts up crazy athletic numbers, and they're going to move him to receiver, but he could still be a wildcat. Cam Miller then on the other side is also a good athlete at quarterback who they could develop as a third quarterback behind Geno Smith and Aiden O'Connell. So I think this was a really darn good draft. I think they filled a lot of needs. Obviously, this was a team picking where they were 6 overall and with enough holes on it that they weren't going to fix everything in one draft, but you know what? They did a pretty nice job attacking a lot of their flaws here. I think the questions I would still have, again, is mostly about the back 7 of their defense at linebacker. Not a whole lot there, losing Robert Spillane in free agency. The secondary is still very thin, but I think if you're taking step 1 towards building a pretty good football team, especially offensively, the Raiders did a nice job.
I thought it was a home run first draft for John Spytek and Pete Carroll in that era there with the Raiders. I agree with you. I think Darian Porter is a perfect Pete Carroll cover 3 type of corner. I love taking the chance on him there. They need to continue to add in the secondary over the next year, but we knew that they weren't going to get a totally new secondary with all the changes that they were going to have on the coaching staff and just getting those guys in there. And then obviously you only got so much that you could buy in free agency in the draft. But Darian Porter, I think, is a really good selection for them. The versatility and leaning in on great athletes. I like the 2 offensive linemen that they're taking chances on. J.J. Pegues, obviously, is sort of a story of his own. Tommy Mellott, somebody who, incredible athletic numbers that he was able to showcase at his pro day. Tonka Hemingway is sort of that one-gap attacking interior defensive lineman. So just athleticism, man. And when you pair the weapons that they got in the receiving game, Jack Bech is, again, a condensed set, can block his butt off for you. Feels a little bit like a tight end with how big he is as a wide receiver. And like him and Brock Bowers do a lot of the same things. And I don't mean that like they're going to take away from each other. Sometimes I think we focus too much on what could be a redundancy with players of the same skill set. But I just don't. I don't think that that's always the case. It's not like, oh well, Jack Besh runs a lot of the same routes that Brock Bowers does. That means they're going to take away from each other. No, I think that it just means that you have two threats that can do a lot of the same things on any given play, and you're now demanding the defense to have two players that know how to cover somebody like that. Now you throw in the fact that they also added Deontay Thornton, who could stretch the field vertically, legit 6'5", legit speed at that size, and somebody who maybe is a one-trick pony and just running deep down the field with those skinny posts and those 9 routes, but he does that very, very well, and I think that that could be a complementary piece of their passing offense. So I just like a lot of the bets that they made, man. I feel like they understood the roster that they had, where they wanted to get better, and the types of players that they sort of want to set the tone and getting a lot more dynamic and versatile, the way that Pete Carroll was when the Seahawks were really damn good. So I thought it was a great job by John Spytek as well as the general manager there.
Agreed. It's a good call you made about Pete Carroll kind of resetting the culture after everything that's gone on the last 2 or 3 years in Vegas. So I think that's what he's trying to do. And I do think this offense, and despite them being in an absolutely loaded division with these other 3 teams, this is going to be a fun offense to watch. Geno Smith, Ashton Ginty, pretty good offensive line. Bowers, Besh, Myers, maybe Dante Thornton works his way in there. They're going to score some points. It's just a matter of if they're going to be in a lot of shootouts and they're going to make enough stops to win games. But the Raiders are going to be fun to watch this year. And even if they end up again in 4th place in this division, they're going to be among the most fun 4th place teams to watch. I think they're going to be a threat to anybody with this offense.
I don't know if they're going to be in 4th place. I don't know. I think it's just going to be tight. Obviously, you look at the other teams, and they're fantastic as well. This is, is this the best division in football? I guess we'll have plenty of time to debate that when we get close to the season, but it's going to be tough.